welcome to Ask Me About K-Pop, the essential guide for recent converts and seasoned fans alike. My name is Shannon.
And I'm Angelica.
And welcome to the last episode of 2022.
Oh, man, we did it. We made it to the end.
We did it. We made it to the end. I can't believe it. So yeah, this is our last episode of the year where we pick our top 15 tracks for the year.
Yes.
And our dear sweet friend Yusong was unable to join us this year, but for tradition's sake, his spirit is felt in this moment.
His spirit is here, and we will be averaging his energy into our final totals and feeling comfortable that he would sign off on all.
Yeah, he
choices,
would agree. I think so. I think so. So before we get started, I just was curious if you have like a favorite memory or moment of K-pop thing that happened or that we got to do this year, because we went to like so many concerts.
Yeah, we did get to go to so many concerts this year. Every single one of them was great and fun. I mean, definitely a highlight of the year was going to see 17 with Jenna.
Yes, absolutely.
We finally got to meet our dear friend Jenna in person and take her to her first K-pop concert, which is like an experience that I love to give to people.
Absolutely.
We've done that several times and it's always fun. I mean, we started our year by interviewing Blitzers, which was amazing.
So
like
cool.
That was so much fun. And I like still think back on it with like such happy memories because they were such sweetie pies.
Yes.
And we had so much fun. And also just from like a straight up fan perspective, like the Twice concert was amazing because that's like the first concert I've ever seen at a huge stadium like that, and like with the full moon shining down, and like I just think about like when they sang Moonlight, and then we all talked about it afterward, and like the whole crowd sang together, and it was just, that was a beautiful evening.
Yeah, I think that Twice concert was definitely a huge highlight because it was I think it was the biggest concert I've maybe ever been to. And the amount of people that were there, and getting to be official press at KCON was so freaking cool.
That was really awesome. That was really
we
cool.
got to see so much and meet so many people, and that was just really neat. And yeah, I don't know, it was a great year
for us,
doing stuff and seeing stuff and great music, and yeah, it was awesome. So thanks 2022. I hope 2023 is just as good, if not better.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I know, right? I saw a like Twitter joke of like, man, I haven't seen anybody say like 2023 is gonna be my year.
Everybody's traumatized.
Yeah, no. All right, well, let's get into our top 15 choices.
And in case you've never heard one of our end of the year episodes before, or also have not listened to our battle episodes, Shannon, will you explain our system so that everybody knows how we choose these top 15 tracks?
Sure. So how we choose all of these is we will put our choices in ranked order from number 1 to number 15, and then we assign a point value to each place in the ranking. So first place gets 15 points, last place gets 1 point, and then we total together our points, and then that's what determines the order of the top 15.
Yes. And normally when we get Yusong's third point values, we end up with a really nice mix, and don't end up with that many ties, because eventually like someone will get like booted out in favor of something else. Because it's just the two of us, we do have quite a few ties, because like if I chose a song that wasn't on your list at all, like it could still get a spot.
Yeah, because if you assigned it like 13 plus points, like it will get on there.
List.
Yeah.
So we'll have a few ties this year, but I think that's okay, because honestly, choosing these it's difficult every year. I know I say that all the time, but like it was hard.
It was really hard.
I
feel like my ranking in comparison to previous years, like it doesn't feel like a very strong ranking. Like there are other years where I've been like, this is my number 1 song definitively. I feel very strongly about the top 5. But honestly, I feel like all 15 songs, I kind of equally love them all. And it was so hard to put them in any kind of order.
Toward the end, I knew what my number 1 was going to be. Like from the beginning, I like had no question about it. But... And I was like, okay, I think like I feel good about having these be in my top 5. But everything after 1 was pretty interchangeable. Yeah. So like after I had, because I had like made it on Spotify and I like ordered it or whatever. And I was like, okay, I don't think I want to move around the top 5. Like I'm okay with that. And then I looked at my other 10 and I was just like, it doesn't really fucking matter.
Yeah.
Like, bloop, bloop. Like I just kind of like shuffled a few of them, and then I was like, I'm only gonna shuffle this one because I don't think Shannon's gonna pick it. So if I rank it higher, it'll have a higher chance.
Sure.
So it was like, it's not that I actually think this song is better than these others, but I want to give it a better chance of ending up on the list.
Yeah.
So I'll scoot it up.
Fair.
Like, that's all I was doing.
That's very fair.
I was just like, I'm gonna be strategic this year. Which I'm not usually.
I just remembered that something that we do every year in this is a runner-up choice of something that didn't make it onto the list.
Do we need to do that at the end because we don't know what's made it at the list yet?
Maybe we can save
Yeah,
it
we
for
can
the end, but
decide.
we'll each have a runner-up of
runner-up.
something that we, are sad didn't make it.
Yeah.
So, just to preface before we get into this, we actually have 17 tracks in our top 15 because of all the ties.
Mm-hmm.
But
so be it.
so be it. So we'll start with 15th place, which is a 3-way tie.
Okay.
They all had the same amount of votes. Siri, be quiet. So we'll start with our very first 15th place goes to, oh my God. Sorry, we're in a different setup today and everything is confusing.
It's okay.
Why? Our first 15th place goes to Copycat by A-Pink Chobom. So this, I think this has come up in every single one of our end of the year episodes so far. This little mini was very impactful.
It was impactful. I mean, it was one of it. It was definitely one of the earlier things that I purchased in the year. So I feel like because of that, it had a feature on my like personal 2022 ladies playlist. And so I just heard it so much. And yeah, I didn't pick any of the B-sides off of this for our B-side, but like it was our subunit and like the music video was really cute. And this was just like such a lovely package that I thought like fit in it was like very perfectly tangential to what A-Pink currently makes. Like I thought that the way it like ultimately it was different from A-Pink's like style, but still went with it.
Yeah.
In a way that I thought like was a perfect example of what a subunit should be.
I totally 100% agree. And I was so excited to see that yesterday or 2 days ago, they put out a new song. We got another Chobom song. It's a beautiful ballad. It's like an old, I can't remember the name of it right now, but
it's a cover.
It's not quite a cover. It's like a very old song, but the writer who wrote it has written an answer to that original song. And so Bomi and Chorong are like doing that new answer version of it. So I was excited because I wasn't sure if this was going to be a forever one and done subunit, but like another song. Hey, it's something.
So maybe they'll come back every once in a while. Like
I
CBX.
hope so. That would be really nice.
It would be.
All right. So our next 15th place. I'm surprised at how like low this one ended up being, but Love Dive by IVE.
Yeah, it's so bad, it's good. 난 그 맘을 좀 봐야겠어. Narcissistic, my God, I love.
Wow, I am also surprised that this was low because this one was one that was on both of our lists.
Okay, yes.
I had this one pretty high initially, and then ultimately I dropped it down because I already talked about it in the choreography. But yeah, I really, really liked this song. I thought it was, I mean, we talked about this on the show when it happened, but we learned 11, IVE's like debut song, and that really grew on me in a way that I like didn't expect it to. And then when they came out with Love Dive, I was like, oh, this is even funkier. Like it was a fun and interesting track that I definitely didn't get tired of throughout the year.
Right. It's just, it's very interesting. I love the way that it like drops into that chorus and that thing that we talked about in the girl group episode of this like Billie Eilish-ification of like K-pop, where that very specific kind of grainy, like vocodery, like sound over things just gives everything like such a Gen Z vibe that I like. I have to appreciate it. And I also really loved that so many times this year I got to see like boys do goofy covers of this song. Like Boo sang it very, very excitedly on a 17 something, and I think I can't remember if it was Chongkyun or Honey, but like one of the Monsta X's did one of their like ridiculous Monsta X covers of this on the radio show, and I always like those.
Those are always fun.
Yeah. So our final 15th place in 2022 goes to Love Aid by Vivi.
This one was my pick. And I put it like kind of straight in the middle of my choices because I love this song. I like really can't get enough of it, but I was so torn between Love Aid and Bop, and I ultimately picked Love Aid over Bop. Bop?
It's two bops,
It's
yeah.
Bop. Ultimately picked Love Aid because you used this to describe something else in one of our like other end of year episodes, but it absolutely reminds me of I Want to Dance with Somebody, like that kind of joy that is in it. And there really is something like musically similar to it as well, but it's just such a fun song and like it makes me want to dance. And even though I really liked Bop Bop too, there was something more about this song that I really enjoyed, and maybe it was just that it felt a little bit more unique in that sense. Like I think that there are other K-pop songs that are similar to Bop Bop, but I didn't necessarily think of any other at least title tracks that were similar to Love Aid, so that's why I wanted it on my list.
Absolutely, I love that. I feel like Love Aid is kind of maybe like Hyolyn-y in its like feeling.
It is a little bit.
And there's something else like summery I can't like put my finger on. Like maybe it's like a later Mariah Carey, like maybe even like Butterfly era Mariah Carey. There's something that just feels like roller skating on a boardwalk about this song.
And I think it's the chorus where that like, because the chorus really like swings that like love it, love it, love it, love it, and like you can just like swing love it, love it, love it. It would totally work.
Perfect. Okay, great. So the next place I'm calling 13th place. I had a weird way of trying to organize these, but we're going to call it 13th place, and it also has 3 songs in it.
This is so dumb.
I love it. I think it's so funny. So our first 13th place song goes to Fearless by LE SSERAFIM.
What you looking at? 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 I'm feeling.
I mean, this was an excellent debut. We talked about it a lot in the girl group episode, and everybody, I mean, when we were looking at other people's like B-side lists, whenever people were sharing them in the Discord and stuff, like it seemed like everybody was listening to LE SSERAFIM this year. And I thought about giving this song my choreo award because there are a couple of like moves in the chorus that I just like really love, and I don't know, it's just a good song.
Yeah, and it's very different, I think, from what a lot of girl groups debut with. Like the way that it like starts low and just kind of always stays low was something that like the first time I heard it, I was like, ooh, this is very interesting. Like this is not at all what I would have expected. And yeah, this was pretty low on my list only because we had many opportunities to talk about LE SSERAFIM in other ways. But when I was thinking about like the songs that I will think of to represent this year, I think this one had to be on the list because I was like, well, LE SSERAFIM made a really big impact this year, and so because of that I feel like they've got to be on here somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I also chose this one over Anti-Fragile, where like Anti-Fragile is definitely like that's a fucking K-pop song.
Yes.
Like it's got that like ring ding dong earworm slight annoyingness about it that like is it's something. And every time I listen to it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is actually good.
But when
like,
it starts,
you're like, really though?
Yeah.
The like whistles and the like
Yeah, yeah,
repeating and but
and there's a moment like at some point in the beginning, like 10 seconds or something happens in Anti-Fragile that makes me almost skip it. And then it keeps going. But I never almost skip Fearless.
sure. Yeah, totally. Totally. All right, our next 13th place goes to Bop Bop by
Great.
Vivi.
This one was your pick.
This was my Vivi's pick. Yeah, I really enjoyed Vivi's debut, and I talked about them so much in all of the Queendom episodes, obviously, because they competed on Queendom as one of the first things that they did after re-debuting, essentially, because they were all in G-Friend, and now they're in a different group. And I just think that this song is so fun. Like, it just is so fun. And I love the little choreo. And I heard it so many times, especially in the Queendom, because they like, even though they did put out a couple of songs on their like first little EP, they like only performed and referenced Bop Bop in Queendom, and they like played it a bunch, and they like reimagined it for a stage, and like they had to do it a lot of times. But I never got tired of it, and I thought it was so fun. And I like love that the music video has one of those like I love an inside out concept. That's always very cute to me. Like, I think it's funny when we were just talking about this at dinner. Last night we were talking about that movie Spirited, the new Will Ferrell, Ryan Reynolds movie. And I just think it's so funny when creatively you take something about life and then imagine that it has a stupid bureaucracy behind it. That's just always funny to me. So like Office in my brain, like perfect.
Yeah.
Great. But yeah, I love Vivi's, and I hope that they keep doing things and stick around, because I know they were not ready to be done being idols.
They definitely weren't ready to be done being idols or being in G-Friend. And so it's nice that not only do these three like still get to be together, but also it seems like they're really getting to make the kind of music that they want to, and that's very fun. So I hope they get to continue.
I can't remember the name of it now, but their like most recent single where they were like heaven gods or whatever, and the like concept was ooh, like they're like three things they've released have had like very different concepts, and like I'm just excited by their whole thing.
Yeah, me too.
All right, our final 13th place goes to Do 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 by Tan.
Yes, this was me. In the words of you song, I yeeted this onto the list. This was the one that I had it like lower, and I was like, Shannon's not gonna pick this one, so I'm gonna boop 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 drop you a little higher. I love this song so much. It was something that I like heard. So at the beginning of the year, I didn't keep up with it because I just didn't, but I was doing a really good job every single month of taking all the title tracks that were released, period, like our quarterly fucking reports, and putting them into a playlist in chronological order, and then just shuffling it and deleting things that I didn't like.
Smart.
And Tan put out 2 releases. Like, I think they debuted this year.
I think that is correct.
And
Again, we don't know what boy groups are up to.
Pay
Don't
attention
ask
to
us.
the boy boobs. The boy groups. The bop bop boy
the
boobs.
baby boop boop
The
boy
baby
groups.
boy boobs. Anyway, I don't pay attention to them. So Tan debuted this year, and their debut was bananas. It's called Louder, and it sounds like 5 different songs in one, and the music video is the same way. And I remember watching it and being like, whoa, it's a lot of abs for a debut video. But then they came out with this song, Do Do Do, and I love it. It's like if somebody took the acapella part of Tempo and then just rewrote a whole
Made
new
that
song
the whole song
based off of that.
Yes.
Like, we're gonna just loop, like take out this, loop the little do 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 do, and then like make a whole new thing over it. And the runs in this and the ad libs, and there's like something about the energy of this song that made me think of like old, like original boy bands.
Like Boys to Men
like
bands.
Boys to Men, like giving me that layers
Yeah,
of
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
we have
yeah.
a 3-part harmony, but then one guy's going off and another guy's going off in a different way. And like the way that this song builds, it has something, and like the little like, oh yeah, like way in the background. I'm just like, yes. And this was like the only like new boy group that I could even really name for you, but it was a song that even when I would play it on shuffle, like kept coming back to it. And I was like, you know what? I'm putting you on the list.
Great. I'm glad that you yeeted it up there. Because I heard this song for the very first time last weekend at your house. We were getting ready to go out and you were in the other room. And as soon as it started, I was like, who is this? What is this? Because I like immediately liked it. And I'm glad that you put this on here because I noticed in the Discord, people were talking about end of year lists put out by companies or whatever. And somebody said, like, literally though, where is Tan? Like, why isn't Tan making it onto anybody's list? So we got him on ours.
Welcome. Tan is here with us.
All right, moving on to 11th place, which is a two-way tie. We're gonna some of these I promise are only one song. Got it. But not
yet.
Not yet. So our first 11th place song is I Envy You by Taeyeon.
Nice.
넌 반짝이는 irony. So I envy you.
Again, another one that has been talked about. This album or this song has been talked about in every end of the year episode because it was a huge deal to me. It came out in February, so I had it all year.
Yeah.
Listened to it a million times. I just love Taeyeon. I don't know. I don't know what else to say because we've talked about it so much in the past couple episodes, but like, I don't know. This was a great Taeyeon comeback.
Yeah. I don't know if I have more to say about how beautiful and stunning and like dynamic this whole package was. Like the music video, the choreo, the song itself, Taeyeon's voice, like the vibe of the song, the concept of it being like a goddess come to life or whatever. Like it was all good. All of it was good from start to finish, and it had to be on the list.
So there you go. And our next 11th place is Flash by Rocket Punch.
Another one of mine.
Take a flash, 나를 비추면 you 내일도 안에 밤새로 깨끗해진 다음 빛을 머금고 날 refresh.
I have talked already about how much I love Rocket Punch in our B-side episode. I really, 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 really love Rocket Punch. And Flash is one of their most recent comebacks. And as soon as I heard this song, I loved it.
Oh, yeah. I remember we were like watching it. We were sitting in your living room and we're like, what K-pop came out this week? Let's just like watch things and see what's going on. And like truly 30 seconds into this music video, you were like, you reacted very strongly to it immediately.
I loved it immediately. As soon as the chorus comes in with the flash, I was like, ooh, this. And the choreo is really fun. Like it like really is a package. And I immediately bought the EP or the single. It's just 3 songs. But both of the B-sides on it are great. Moon Prism and one that I can't remember. Beep Beep, I think.
I loved Beep. I was lamenting not getting Beep Beep on my B-side list.
And I was
It
lamenting
didn't
not
fit.
getting Moon Prism on my B-side list. And so for that reason, I had to put Flash on my title tracks because it's really good.
Yeah, it is really good. I like this song very much because it definitely has those like, I don't know, like the song itself like makes you think of like fashion and runways and like glamour and like there's just something about it. And I love that the chorus starts very like simple and kind of dropped out in that take a flash blah 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 blah, but then it gets into the ready for action and then it goes freaking crazy, let light signal action, and like
it goes off.
It goes off.
Yeah, in such a fun way. I love it. And this was a song that like it had to be on my list because it got stuck in my head. And so like any song where I will spend like I'll just be going through my day and like I haven't actually sat down and listened to that song, but I'm washing my dishes going flash, like it's got to be on the list.
Totally love it. Perfect. All right, our next place we are calling ninth place.
Great.
Again, I tried to make
wibbly.
this work. So for ninth place, this is only one song.
Yes.
And our ninth place goes to Attention by New Jeans.
You got me looking for attention. You got me looking for attention.
So as discussed last week, like the New Jeans debut was a big moment in K-pop in 2022.
Phenomenon of this year, I think.
Like I remember the week that it came out, and it was just like it felt so. Because again, it's very strange to me, and not strange, it's good, I love it, but unusual that all of these girl groups were like debuting and then they were all anyone was talking about. And it made me think like, wait, what did I miss? I haven't heard of this group. And it's like, oh, because they literally just came out. But everyone was like so on it already. And I was like, so when New Jeans came out, I was like, wait, was everyone like, did everyone else know about this? Was everyone waiting for this and I just didn't know? Or did it just, I think it just hit so hard because these kids, they love Y2K nostalgia and New Jeans
that
like
is New
really
Jeans.
capitalized on it.
Yeah, you're right. This was a year of like stupendous debuts, right? Of like we come on the scene and like instantly are sort of a phenomenon. And part of that probably has to do with the fact that like Le Sserafim is hype and
New Jeans is too. Like it's one of the subsidiaries.
It's all one of the
yeah.
things. And so I'm sure that has like a piece of it that people were like looking forward to this company's like first girl
because
groups
they didn't
and
have
to
girl
see
groups.
like what they were gonna do. But it is interesting, and that was kind of one of the reasons that I had to have it on there. Similar to Le Sserafim, it was like I just feel like you can't talk about 2022 without talking about this song, especially because it not only like perfectly encapsulates that Y2K trend, but I think also solidified that as being popular and being the sound that people want. And so it's just sort of like, I don't know, it is the song of the year, I think.
Yeah.
Like in a lot of ways, you could easily argue that New Jeans and Attention by New Jeans was the song of 2022 because and I almost didn't put it on my list at all because I heard it so often that I kind of started to get annoyed by it.
Right.
And like when as it starts, like sometimes I'm just like, ugh, this one. But then it kicks in and I'm like, nah,
it's good. It's good. Yeah, I do wonder if, you know, in the years going on that like we will remember. Similarly in the Kara episode when we were talking about in 2007 there was Wonkaso, like the three girl groups that debuted. Like if people will remember like in 2022 we got New Jeans and Le Sserafim and Ive and like that was you know, like if that's gonna be what people remember about this year. And I think it's very likely that that's
Probably
the case.
Probably.
All right, moving on to 8th place. Again, this is just one song, and it goes to Up by Kepler.
Nice.
바로 지금 네야. Here we go. 상상 속의 나의 삶 따라 줄을 서 준비됐다면 up.
This is one of my eats. Because I think I had this in like second or third of all of my songs. Because I just loved this. I think Kepler is great. I fell in love with them watching its Queendom is the reason that I like am so attached to them now, because I thought that they were such sweeties and they're so like little and they have all that gumption of like a temporary group that's trying to make the most of their moment. And when I first heard Wadada at the beginning of the year, I thought it was like, it's very loud, and I was just kind of like, I don't know what to do with this. And the little girls in our dance class were like begging to do Wadada.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this new girl group with this noisy song? But then it like really grew on me because I just love the way that choreo hits and that it's like so bam, 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 bam. And then they go into like it has all the like movements of a weird girl group song. But when Up came out, there was no hesitation. There was no growing on me. Like, this was a song that I liked immediately. And I don't know, I just think that it's so fun and the chorus is really catchy and the melody is really nice and it just has like good vibes. And I don't know, I feel like I over describe girl group music as sounding like Wiki Miki. And like, I don't know if Wiki Miki is like unique enough that they're the ones I should always be like, this sounds like Wiki Miki. But it does to me. So I don't know. There's like a vibe. There's a vibe of girl group music that like, it isn't quite princess disco and it isn't like sexy grown up music.
And it's not quite girl crush either.
It's just something in between that is just pleasant and nice and fun. And yeah, I don't know. I just really like Kepler. I think they have really interesting color and there's like all the members are so different and like bring such different things to the table. And I just hope that they have fun while they get to do this temporary thing and that they all like land softly somewhere when it's over, because temporary groups are just like inherently a bummer.
Yeah. Yeah, and you never know what comes after them. So good luck to all the Kepler girls though, because they're very talented.
Great. All right, 7th place is a 2-way tie.
Great.
So our first one goes to When I Move by Kara.
When I move, my body 흔들어봐. When I move, 더 자유롭게 breaking all the rules. When I move.
So we obviously did an entire deep dive about this group ending in this comeback.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was an immediate love for both of us. I think we both put this in the exact same place in our rankings. So we agreed about
how
Kara.
important it was for the year. Yeah. Yeah, this was one that was motivated by both like sentimentality and genuine enjoyment of the song.
Absolutely.
Because for one, like one of the reasons I put it up so high is because like the song itself I think is super catchy, and it's another one of those that just gets stuck in my head. Like I will just be walking around singing when I move.
Absolutely.
Like no problem. And so for that, I was like, well, this has to be here because it's one of my favorite of the year in general. But it is arguably a pretty standard girl group song.
Yeah.
Like nothing about it rewrites the game in any way. But they killed it. And like it was such a good, satisfying comeback. And to have waited so long for them to do something again and to have gone through so much with this group, and then when they do reunite to celebrate 15 years, they come back with something that is so joyful and powerful. And like they always wore pink and it was really girly and like fun and like
but also
sexy
very
and
grown
mature.
and like appropriate for a group where half the members are in their 30s. Like
totally. Yeah, and it felt very much like an aged up Kara. Like I just felt like it perfectly fit who they were and who they are now. Like it just really did a great job for them, I think, and it just made me so happy to see. It made me so happy.
I totally agree. Yeah, this was great song, incredible sentimentality, story, legendary. Like it just had all the elements.
It had all the pieces. And it looks so glamorous in the music video.
They really did. Ooh, I loved it. Yeah. I loved it. All right, our other 7th place that tied with this is Higher by 50/50.
이순간 love the feeling sweet life live for the good times 우리 둘이 기분 타고 높이 올라가.
I tossed this onto the top because I made this my number 2 pick.
Wow.
So I gave it 14 points.
Holy
I said
shit.
this one has to be on it. I've already explained how much I love 50/50. So I will not talk your ear off about it again. But just know that I really fucking love them. So it had to be on the list.
Yeah, I'm not against this choice at all. Yeah, I liked this song also. I think that this 50/50 EP was so interesting because there are 4 songs on it and they are all they couldn't be more different from each other, these 4 songs. But I feel like Higher as like a debut track was a smart choice because it feels more, it has a more, I don't know, like regular old mainstream K-pop vibe.
Sure.
Like Lovin' Me is arguably like weird. And what's the last song that's
Tell
like
Me.
boy? Like,
the
yelly boy song.
Oh, it's not Lingo Login.
Login. Yes, that one to
Yeah,
me
yeah.
felt like your standard noisy boy group song, which is cool
totally.
that they are trying that too. But anyway, Higher is just like, I don't know, we say this sometimes when we do the girl group episodes, that like sometimes people just like do the K-pop perfectly.
Yes,
It's like you
and
just
you watch
did it.
something and you're like, well, that was K-pop.
Yes, and the music video for Higher has like every single fourth gen trope in it, and like the sound feels very familiar, and it was just like they just did it. They like did a girl group debut in 2022 exactly the way you should do a girl group debut.
Yeah, and like with all of the like trendy, that like Gen Z sound or whatever, definitely still is a main factor of it. But one thing I also really liked about this debut is the way that they styled the girls, because even though all of the members are over 18, they did not make them sexy. Like they didn't try to make them sexual in any way.
Right.
Like, and the choreography is not sexual. There's no like body rolls in it. Like, and they would wear like, you know, one of them would just wear like jeans and a t-shirt, and the other one was wearing like an enormous shirt with like boy shorts.
Right.
And like I just really, really liked the style of Higher, or of 50/50, and I like every stage I've seen of them, every performance, like they just look like a school band, you know, like they remind me of like a Sabrina and her friends like drinking the soda,
that
and
episode of
competing in the
Sabrina
talent
the
show.
Teenage Witch.
Yeah, where they just like put on their coolest clothes from the closet and like go and sing in the cafeteria or whatever. Like that's what 50/50 makes me think of, and I really like them.
Yay. Great. I'm glad you got it on here.
I still found a way to talk your ear off about them.
All right. Our next position we're calling fourth place, and this is a two-way tie. Our last tie of the list. But
Okay, great.
for our first fourth place, we have Forever One by Girls' Generation.
Oh my baby 사랑해 기억해 I love 너의 모든 것들 전부인 너 우리는 영원 We are one
This was my number one pick. Again, I was like, in other years I've had a way stronger like this is number one. But I think just going off of like, I don't know, just feels.
Yeah, similar to
This
the
was
Cara
number one
one
for me, and I love the song. It's not like it's number one just because Girls' Generation came back. I think it's a very good song.
Sure.
It's really fun. I love the like harmonies in the chorus. It just like the way that this album, it sounded like Girls' Generation because it was. They like literally got them all. And I still think that it was an incredible feat that they even pulled this comeback off at all.
Yeah, and gave us an enormous album. Like this was not just a 5-track EP. Like it was
even just a
big...
single just to like get it. Like there's a chance that they would have just done a
Holiday
shitty single.
was just like a barely release or whatever, and it felt very anticlimactic. And that we got a full comeback from them for this was so satisfying.
It was very, very satisfying. And I just love Forever One. It's like classic Girls' Generation, but it also still somehow sounded like
New.
now. Like it didn't sound old, but it sounded like them, and they are firmly a second gen girl group. So like that's important and cool. And I loved the choreo, and I loved seeing them do their little TikTok dance challenges with like
with
Nino and
everybody.
stuff, because I love when they make the old timers do new timey stuff like TikTok challenges. I loved that they got to do this at a freaking SM town, and that they were all crying and like, I don't know. It was just a really magical moment that I don't think I could have even ever dreamed of happening the way that it did. Because I know we said in our Girls' Generation deep dive like 3 years ago, very skeptically, like, oh, they said they could get back together someday.
But
and we were
we'll
like,
see.
I don't believe you. But they did. They really came back, and they shot
really
a whole freaking reality show, and they did so much. They gave us so much.
Yeah.
And I'm just very, as a person who got into K-pop because of Girls' Generation, I'm just so deeply grateful that this is where we ended up.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
It is really nice. I didn't have this one on my list, not because it was not important to me. Like this whole album was a huge part of my year. I ultimately didn't pick it just because I was like, well, we talked about Girls' Generation, and like I did have them on my B-sides, and like it is a very important comeback, but I guess it was kind of in the same way that like the Kara one like didn't rewrite the genre
Right.
or anything. It was like, well, this song came out and it's just a solidly like, this is a girl's generation song, and which is not a bad thing in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, I'm glad that you were able to get it on there
Thank you.
and in a place that it deserves.
And our next fourth place that tied with Forever One is Talk That Talk by Twice.
Nice.
Then 시작해볼까 right now. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need. A to Z 는 말해봐. 시작은 이렇게.
I thought that this was a great comeback. I was kind of surprised because it seemed like maybe there was just too much else going on this year, but it seemed like in the grand zeitgeist of K-pop that like this didn't make as big of an impact as a
100%.
Twice comeback usually does.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I thought it was great.
I totally agree. And I had this one on my list too, because I was like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I just can't not have it on there.
Right?
Like, and it's kind of in the same way that like a Forever One is just like, this is a girl's generation song. Like Talk That Talk simply is a Twice song. And I love Twice. So
Yeah.
boom. had
So
to
I can't be
there.
mad at a
Yeah.
Twice song, at Twice putting out a Twice song because that's what
Exactly.
they did.
That's what they did.
But I love, like I always love their choreo, but I also love the choreo of this one. That like big like shrug hands
Yeah.
at the beginning of the chorus is so good, and it was also really fun.
And the weird
and
like LOVE thing that they do with their arms.
yes, they do so many crazy things with their arms, and just like I know that lots of people also observed that it was so nice to not only see Jonghyun with the group, but that she was so enthusiastically participating in literally everything.
Yeah.
Like I could be mistaken, but I don't think there were like days where she didn't perform
I
or
don't think so
shows she
either.
didn't show
Yeah.
up. I think she was
I
like
think she was there the whole time. Mhm.
which is really nice.
Yeah.
And she seemed, you know, like very happy and very excited to be there.
Yeah.
And
And I
it's
thought
just
this
nice
was
to see that
the-
she's doing better.
Yeah, and she was styled much more flatteringly in this comeback, I think. So I was like happy to see her also like fitting in with the like, you know, when you look at the group, like nobody stuck out in
Right,
any
right,
way,
right.
shape, or form. So I just thought that it was just a very like cohesive and fun and felt like a Twice comeback with no strings attached to it, which
Yeah.
was really fun.
Yeah, maybe that's why it just like didn't. Why it didn't.
It
seem
was
to
like
make the
now
same
they're back
impact,
in the
'cause it was just like
groove.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just it's just a Twice comeback.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked it. I thought it was great, and the album's really fun too. So
Yeah.
I'm glad we got it on here.
Me too.
All right, moving into our top 3 places. In third place, we have Pop by Nayeon.
Take it, baby, you're out of control. So you're under my control. 설렘이 막기 전에 I wanna make it pop, pop, pop. You want
So yeah, I think maybe this is what overshadowed the Twice
Maybe,
like
maybe.
Twice comeback, because this was so big. Like you
was
talked about
huge.
last week, it was just like a spectacle in general. Like because no Twice had ever gone solo before, it seemed like JYP pulled out all of the stops for
Oh,
Nayeon
yeah.
in outfits and music video sets and promotion, and like all of like she
Totally.
really got to do a big comeback, and it was such a fun, impactful song.
Oh yeah, the song itself I felt like was the song of the summer, like period. You can argue with me about it, but I won't agree. And like this song was everywhere, and I like never got tired of it. I feel like the little like pop like choreo move was like so iconic, and like everybody was trying to do it.
Yes,
and
I think that's the thing is like I feel like in the last 2 years, all the other Twice comebacks I've seen so much on TikTok, like everyone learning it, everyone doing it. But this year it was
pop.
the pop choreo
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah. And like the outfits were so glamorous, and she got like 1,000 of them and got to wear almost every single one on an actual stage. The albums had like 4 different versions, and they're like all stunning. And they came with so much extra stuff in them. So it was like, yeah, it was just such a great solo debut. Like the whole EP is wonderful. And this was, definitely one of those songs that like when I think back on this year, I will think of this one.
Yeah. It's like a really cool, good song. I love that the vibe of it was more like theatrical K-pop, or maybe
yes.
it feels like a little retro, and that there's like a kind of big band horns,
Totally.
like
It's very grand.
It's very grand, but also like the verses have kind of like a cutesy, like doo-woppy like vibe about them,
the
like
little
little
shimmy.
shakies and stuff. Like, I don't know, it's just freaking cute, and it was so fun. And yeah, what a great solo debut. Like, she
was
really
perfect.
lucked out. They like picked great stuff for her, and
Yeah.
I
Or
loved
she
it.
picked it. Who knows?
Whoever
Whatever.
did it,
Whoever was
good
behind
stuff.
this comeback. Great job.
All right, moving into our second place, number 2 song of the year is DM by Promise 9.
Yeah, it's true. Doesn't matter. Gonna me and you. 가까이 가면 I want to. 눈을 못 피하게.
DM was my number 2.
Okay.
As well.
I think it was my number 2.
Or maybe
I
it was
think
my number 3.
number 2
Just
or
higher
3.
was my number 2. Whatever. I don't remember.
Either
it was
way,
real high.
it was really high. This was an immediate like for me. I think that I just found it in that we had just started. That's another highlight of our year. We finally got to go back to K-pop dance class after
True.
like 2 years of no class. And so after we'd finished our first IVE dance at the beginning of the year, we were like, what are we going to do next? And so I think we purposefully were like, what girl group stuff has come out in the past couple weeks so that we can try to pitch it to Uno. And the first time I like watched this, I was like just immediately in love. Like, it's so fun. I love just the grand, bright beltiness of the first line of the chorus, and that it is the phrase doesn't matter. Like, there's something so like freeing about it.
I was literally just gonna say like effervescent and like relaxing of like, it doesn't matter, and like the joy in which they sing it doesn't matter, and the like huge arms like busting through the line when they do it. It's just like so great because it's like, I don't know, it makes me think of like Maria running and like, look at all the fucks I give, like in The Sound of Music, you know what I mean? That's what it is, like just running and like, doesn't matter, like it doesn't matter, goodbye, I'm leaving this world, like it's great.
I just thought that it was so good, and it was the last comeback for Gyuri because I believe that she left the group after this one. But like as a quote unquote like final thing with the original lineup of Promise 9, like what a great song!
What a good
and then
one.
the album they put out later the year was also amazing.
Well, the album that this was on was fantastic.
They were
Midnight
both
Guest.
so
It
good.
was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, I've liked Promise 9 since the first time we saw them at KCON all those years ago, and was
they
like,
were
these
very
girls are
impressive.
good.
They
They
were
were
very
in our
impressive.
first class of support girl groups.
Yes, they were.
And I'm glad that they're
Sticking
still
around.
around and put out 2 albums this year.
Yeah.
Like,
And they've really grown in their style. I think they've like stuck with their, because they were kind of like fairy idol,
Yes,
like
absolutely.
G-Friend vibes when they debuted. And they're definitely still super girly, but in a way that I think that has appropriately matured with the group. And so it's very fun to like see them continuing to make this like purposefully feminine, beautiful like stuff that is staying age appropriate for them. It's really fun to see.
great. All right. It's time to talk about our number 1 song of the year. And it feels unsurprising based on, I think, what our top 3 was last year. Y'all know what we like. Our number 1 song of the year is Run to You by Stacey.
해버리고 바라만 있다면 no worry, yeah. 알잖아, it should be you. So I run to you. So I run to you.
Yes. Oh my God. It's so, in our dance class, sometimes like when we finish the dance and the song, like the next song on the playlist starts playing, it's often Run to You. And the teacher always stops it, but everyone in the class goes, run. Like right at the part. Oh my god, I love this. I love Stacy. I
Yeah.
love Stacy. And I feel like this Young Love album was on so many people's top everything
Yeah.
because it was amazing.
Yes. Yeah, this whole release is great. Like I think I said earlier in the year, like after you got me on the Stacey train, I was like, well, so I bought all of Stacey's music and all of it is good. Because it's true, all of it is good. I own all of their albums.
Yep.
They're all wonderful. But Run to You is just like, it is my song of the year. Like it was, and it came out kind of early, but like I never got tired of it. As soon as I heard it, I was like, this is weird, but I love it. Like the main horn hook in it is so fucking catchy.
Yes.
It's so good. And when the bridge drops out into silence and we get that I run to you, like that big note at the end. Oh my God. Every time it happens, like when we were driving back from Thanksgiving and like listening to K-pop in the car, I played that song because I was like, this is a really good example of like weird K-pop,
Yeah.
but it is like, this is what K-pop
But it is
sounds
standard
like, and like,
in its
yeah,
own
yeah.
way,
It's not weird for K-pop, but it's weird for non-K-pop,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And so I was like, but this is a really good example of like what modern K-pop sounds like, right? Because that's what I think makes Stacey so great, is that they are kind of on this like cutting edge of what the new K-pop sounds like. So I played it. And the guy who was driving like started talking over it, and I was like, no, go back, you missed my favorite part. And I made him go back and listen to the bridge again, because I was like, if you talk over this big note, I will kill you. I need you to listen to it, please. But yeah, I just like, I had no doubts in my mind. Like as soon as like a month ago when we were like, oh shit, we got to start thinking about this, I was like, Run to You immediately got stuck in my head. And I was like, well, that's my number one.
Yeah, it's just really good. I think that Stacey are so lucky in that they have Black Eyed Pilsung as their bosses and their main creative team, because they are such incredible hit makers that they like know what a good song is. And I also think that they know they are also feeling lucky in the talent that they have gathered, and they know how to write music for these girls' voices, which is so, it's just amazing for them, because I think so often there's these like guys who write hit songs and then are like, I'm gonna start a company, and then they somehow end up neglecting their own groups, like the freaking Brave Girls, or like Bugaboo got disbanded because Jaden Jong couldn't give a fuck about it. And like, I'm happy that Stacey has two nice boys who seem to like care about them and write them good music.
Well, and
like,
also
I don't know,
like
not drop the ball on this project.
Yeah, they don't seem to be dropping the ball, but also what you said about like knowing how to write music for them. Like they found these 6 girls who have incredible voices, a unique low-voiced rapper, like this very beautiful sound that works when all of them sing together. And so they're like writing these songs that really highlight all of their talents and like give them each their moment to like sound so beautiful on their own and then come and bring it together. But like other companies, you know, like JYP makes all his people sing like JYP. You know what I mean? Like, and there's a very like SM sound, and like the main vocalists of Newest sound like the main vocalists of 17 or whatever. And so I think it's nice because Stacey is their only group, and because Brave Brothers are not singers themselves. Like they are
Black
not
Eyed
like
Pilsung, you mean? Sorry.
Thank you. Sorry. You said Brave Brothers earlier,
I did.
which is why I was talking about that. Yes,
Sorry.
Black Eyed Pilsung and Brave Brothers is only one guy. Black Eyed Pilsung, because they never, I mean, I guess they did a little, but like they never like tried to be idols themselves.
Right.
They are just musicians and composers, and they like to be behind the scenes. And so the fact that I feel like they just are really taking the time to create something especially for Stacey and for the voices of these girls and the like personality of the group, that it's so fun. And I think that's what makes every single one of their releases fit so beautifully with
Yeah.
them. And like even when they came out with Beautiful Monster, and like I remember they introduced it at KCON and we're like, this is kind of a different title track for us,
It
but
was
like I hope you
definitely
still like
divisive.
it.
I remember when it came out, there were a lot of
Yeah.
very mixed feelings about Beautiful Monster.
I loved
I
it.
like it,
I
too.
thought it was great. And I like it did not bother me at all that it was a little bit different because I thought it was beautiful. And the EP itself like does not in any way stick out like a sore thumb among the rest of their discography. And personally, I don't even think Beautiful Monster does. Like when you just put them on shuffle and that comes up, it fits.
Yeah.
It fits with everything that they do. And I just really like that Black Eyed Pilsung seems to have a very specific vision for them, because it's working really well so far.
Yeah. Great. I love it. I'm glad that's our number one song.
I feel good about it.
So now that we've gotten through our list, I think it's time to pick concession
runner-up.
songs, some runner-ups that maybe didn't make it. And I feel it's very funny to me that I had put 3 different boy group songs on this
one
list.
of them made it.
And not one of them made it.
Sorry, boys. It was
Girls
not your year.
only this year.
No boys allowed.
So I don't know which of the boy group songs I should pick to be my concession song.
I pick this one.
You would pick that one?
If I had to pick, or even if I was looking at this and had to be like, what is one? My 2 choices for concessions would be Red Velvet Birthday, because it's a perfect Red Velvet song in the same way that we talked about Twice and Kara and Girls' Generation. But if I had to only pick one off of this list, I think I would pick Maniac by Stray Kids, because that song is so fun.
It's just so fun, and I like
it's so fun. And I played it, so like when I was on that road trip and I got so indulged, they let me play K-pop like the entire time. And they were like, well, what is like new whatever, like I was like, okay, here's an example of what like modern K-pop sounds like. And I played them Run to You by Stacey, and then I played Maniac by Stray Kids. And I was like, a lot of boy groups sound kind of like this sort of like noisier, like darker, like heavier,
Tough,
like like
gritty, growly,
whatever. But when that fucking chorus drops in and Felix comes in there with his goddamn
Maniac, 나서 빠진 것처럼 미쳐 maniac.
I love it. I cannot.
It's
not
so
love
good.
It's so good.
and seeing it in person was also like a whole other experience. Like
Also, Stray Kids, I think, has just like charmed me in
I
a
think
way
just
that like
charming.
Monsta X charmed us. Of like, I didn't really like your music, but damn it, are you adorable? Because they were so good live. Like
Yeah,
seeing them
they
at
were great.
KCON, I was like, damn, y'all are hype. Like this is great. Like this is fucking great. And I was like, I was not like, I came into this like no expectations, no, like very apathetic about seeing the lineup or whatever. Not apathetic, but just in a like, well, let's see what they
let's
bring.
just see what happens.
I
'cause
am not
we
like
had no,
particularly
emotional
attached.
investment in anybody who
so
was
I was like,
playing.
all right, show me what you got. And they really impressed me, despite the fact that the show was going on a really long time and I was silently begging Bang Chan to wrap it up. They were really, really good. And like, and I think everything I've seen of them, like their little like puppy interviews and like whatever, they're just charming and adorable. And I loved that little Halloween song that we got sent.
Yeah.
Like that was so goofy and fun, and like they're just charming little dudes.
They're
man.
just freaking adorable.
They're
Those
just
little
so
stray
such little
kids.
cuties, those little stray kids.
Yeah, so Maniac is a good concession song, and I feel like the other one of this list that I like must shout out and was sad didn't quite make it is Na 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 by GOT7. Just because in a similar way that the Kara and Girls' Generation songs were like love and nostalgia based, I think it was really beautiful that GOT7 kept their promise to Agase and they put something out this year.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And I just think it's nice.
Yeah, I agree. And I saw a lot of GOT7 on our like listeners B-sides that they were sharing. And I honestly felt bad because like when I saw that I was like, oh, I didn't have any GOT7. I didn't even think about GOT7. Like, oh shit, my bad. But yeah, I do agree. And in that like celebration of like they own their own name now and they're all doing their own thing, but they're still coming together. And like it was fun that so many of them, like Jackson and JB and Bam Bam and Yugyeom. I think almost all
I feel like
of them
maybe all of them put
put
solo
something
stuff out,
out solo. Yeah, I think maybe Jin Young didn't.
Yeah, because I think he might be the only one because he
He's
was
the
acting
only
so
one.
much.
Yeah, he's the only one who didn't though, because Yugyeom did.
Yeah.
And I think all
And
of
I
it came
think
out
that,
this year.
What's his bucket? Young J did
Yes,
as
he did.
well.
He did.
Yeah.
So like they're all except for Jin Young like doing their own solo stuff, but that they still came together and were like, yeah, we are still GOT7. And then they put out like such a fun EP that like really it still felt like them. And it was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed this song very much because it's like bouncy and fun, and it has all of your burps and your skirts and all the GOT7 things
Double
that
beep.
you expect. And I liked it. But yeah. Yeah, and just to say it, the only other boy group that I didn't make it on this list is I had Can't Stop Shining by Tempest.
Sure.
I think it was like kind of low in my list because I was afraid to yeet it. But I just really liked that song so much. It's very, very Astro-y.
Super Astro.
But that's what I like in my
Yeah.
boy group music.
That's how I felt about Bad News, also from Tempest. Yeah, very fun.
Yeah. This was a great year. There was so much music, but honestly, like thinking about it, I truly felt so much stronger about the B-sides than I did almost any of these title tracks.
And that's usually true. I think it really is. But yeah, this was definitely a year where I was like, the B-sides though.
The B-sides though,
They're always good.
they're always good. So those were our top 17 songs that should have fit into 15 slots, but it's fine.
We make it work.
We make it work. Yeah, this was great. Let us know what your top 15 of the year are. You can post them in Discord or send them to us on social media. I love seeing y'all's playlists. I thought it was so funny and extremely validating that people who were sharing their B-side playlists, there was so much overlap with
Yes.
our B-side playlists. I was like, we are all on the same page, guys. Like, yes, I love it.
Yeah, and even if it wasn't the same song, it would be like the same album
Yes.
or something off the same group or
We
something.
were
And I
all
was just like,
listening
yeah,
to
we're
the
all
same
listening to the same
stuff.
shit. I like it.
All right, so that was 2022 in a nutshell. And with that, we'll be right back with a random game. All right, we are back, and the random number generator gave us Ladies Code.
Classic, second gen group, I would say.
2013, we would say that's a cuspy.
Cusp, second, third gen, you're right. But this was a girl group formed under Polaris Entertainment in 2013. It originally had 5 members, and they debuted with an EP called Code 1, and the lead track was Bad Girl, which was released March 7th, 2013. Tragically, Ladies Code was involved in a car accident just 1 year after their debut, and 2 of the members passed away in that car accident. So the remaining 3 members took some time off, but did eventually come back still as Ladies Code and continued to release music for several years after that. Their contracts under Polaris Entertainment expired in 2020, and the members just sort of went their separate ways to do solo stuff. So they're currently on an indefinite hiatus.
Yes, and I think that's all we will say for now, because I do think that Ladies Code did enough that they could probably have their own deep dive someday. But yes, I do think that their very terrible car accident was one of the like big. When everyone talks about 2014 being the worst year of K-pop,
that's one of the reasons
this was
why.
one of the things. It was
really bad.
very sad, very, very sad. But their most popular music video that we will be watching today is it their debut? It's from 9 years ago. Let's see. Where's the discography page?
Down here.
Oh, it's a
gotta
whole
click on it.
page. No, this was their third released single from their second little mini album.
Okay,
It's
great.
called Yeppo Yeppo, or Pretty Pretty. So if you'd like to watch it with us, you can pull it up and press play when I say go.
So this music video is going to have all 5 original members.
Yes. Okay, Ladies Code Yeppo Yeppo. Press play when I say go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, this is adorable.
There's a lot of really tiny people.
Yeah, like really tiny men, and like at the beginning they were little like flies that were like around a light bulb. So the girls are just dancing in very brightly colored outfits, and it almost looks
There's like the
like stop motion.
yeah, like the frame rate is like slow, so they aren't like moving smoothly. They're kind of like
yeah. One girl is on top of a cake, and all the men are just like
just
really
tiny
small.
men just raising their hands.
But this is a very like standard 2013 video. I think it's like box video, Zany Bros.
Super Zany Bros, bright color rooms, and
Yeah.
like if there's quirky, and all of their outfits are very, very bright.
So bright.
Super neon makeup. All their nails are different colors. Their shoes are weird. Like these dresses that look like cages on top
Yeah.
of the dresses. Like, ooh, that's pretty.
Ooh. One of my favorite things about Ladies Code is that they are such good singers.
Yes,
like
yes,
they,
yes.
I had some Ladies Codes in my fantasy girl group because they are incredible belters.
Oh my God, kids.
This is adorable.
And it looks like it's the same kid, like repeated a whole bunch of times.
Yeah, because I think it's the same man, like over and over and over again.
Oh, the kids bought her sparkly shoes.
Oh, but look how they're doing these in such huge, chunky sneakers.
With
That's fun.
socks underneath. Like some of them have like heels and socks. Oh, there's wings on one of their shoes.
Fun. I love that this girl's getting her makeup done by these like tiny men.
They're on like little like
Window cleaners.
window cleaner,
Yeah.
like
Elevator, whatever,
elevator,
scaffolding.
whatever. All the baby bee girls. A lot of fun hair flicks in this choreo. Ooh. Okay.
Oh, we're all putting on big glasses.
Will the glasses help them see something more clearly?
Maybe. That cage dress is fantastic. They just made themselves nerds. I don't know why.
Ooh, but this like breakdown and all these runs.
Oh, this is what I'm talking about.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. I think that blonde is the one that I put in my girl group. I like that they have like the village people behind them. Like, oh, that was so
That
cute.
was so cute. That was so cute.
Loved it.
Love it. Ladies Code. Maybe we'll get into them deep dive style someday.
Yeah, I
I'd
would
like
like
to
that.
explore that.
I would like to. It would be a hard one, but it would be good.
Yeah. All right. That is it. It's weekly recommendation time. Do you have anything that you'd like to recommend? Or have you, we're coming to you from Texas today, but
Yeah.
we're both here, which is wild. It's like 12 degrees.
Oh, it's so cold, you guys.
But I did manage to watch something new this morning
What did
that I
you
would like
watch?
to point out if people haven't watched it. Vernon put out his first solo song today, and it is
I didn't know
English,
that.
and it is Avril Lavigne, like Avril Lavigne Vernon. We love
Like
he
his
loves
2-1.
He loves pop punk.
Yes.
He bleeps there's a bleeped fuck in it.
Gasp.
it's I don't know, it's very cute. He has like black hair and so much eyeliner, and is like running in a white tank top, and he looks so skinny, and like he's just like
He is very
he's
skinny.
such a pop punk dream boy.
I
he's
love
really
that.
channeling all of
Wow,
it.
how fun.
I think it's called Black Eye, if I remember correctly.
great.
And it like just came out today. So
Love
if you enjoy early 2000s pop punk, then I think you will like this thing that Vernon put out.
Well, that's exciting. I'll have to check it out. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really have a recommendation.
It's
I have
okay.
not been up on my shit.
It's all right.
So
Ooh, you know what I'll do? I haven't checked this in a while. Let's see if any
Patreons.
Patreons have recommended anything.
yep.
Oh, yep. Oh, yeah, see, it's already stuck in my head.
I will second a recommendation for Ladies Code in general, just because I do adore them. And let me see. I have, where are my ladies? There they are. I have 2 of their EPs, both from when they were 3 members. I have Stranger and I have Set Me Free. And those are both really good. They actually have a song called Feedback, which I really like. But Stranger is gorgeous. Oh my God. It has 3 original songs and then 3 songs that I think they had previously released and then remixed. But it's beautiful.
Yes.
Like such pretty vocal music.
I remember the first thing that they put out when they like came back as 3, and that it was just like very beautiful and like very sad, and like that they pulled it off so well.
Yeah.
So great. Love
I
that.
do recommend Ladies Code in general.
I'm gonna read this recommendation. It's our most recent one, but it's back from October because we
Great.
haven't checked these in a while. But this person said, I just submitted a Gravity Weekly Idol rec, but I have one more thing to add. Since it's #support girl group season, I wanted to shout out their segment where they have to name hit girl group songs from this year. A lot of songs get listed, and Serim gives Songmin shit for practicing girl group dances more than their own songs.
Fun.
So yeah, check out Gravity on Weekly Idol.
Nice.
Sounds like a good time. Thank you to whatever Patreon recommender recommended that. And on that note, please get tickets for our birthday party.
Yes.
It's coming up.
It's coming up January 19th, 6 p.m. PST. There will be a VOD available for a whole week after the event. So if you're not in our timeline, you should still get a ticket because it'll still be a good time. All your favorite AMAK segments, plus a super secret fun surprise that you have to see to believe. We also have, if you are one of our beloved patrons, you should have a discount code in your Patreon messages
Yes.
for that exact event. If you're not already a patron, you should become one because we have so much extra fun stuff. Not only will you get a discount code for fun stuff like this, but also we have over 2 years worth of content, drama recaps, queendom recaps, stage outfit spotlights, all kinds of fun stuff.
Vlogs and dance games and drinking shows and like I don't know, we've
Yeah.
got a lot of fun
We've
stuff
got
on
a
Patreon.
lot of fun stuff.
So both of those things, tickets for the show are at moment.co/AMAKpop
yes.
and patreon.com/AMAKpoppod. Those are the two places
Pod.
where if you would like to financially support the show, those are 2 ways to do it.
Yes.
Otherwise, we can be found on social media at AMAKpoppod, AMAKpoppod@gmail.com. If you'd like to send us an email, you can call us or text us 181-AMAKpop5. We can get packages and mail to P.O. Box 26096, Los Angeles, California, 90026. Linktree/AMAKpop is in the bio of all of those other places, and it will take you to our Spotify and our YouTube channel. You definitely want to be subscribed to our YouTube channel because our new series, K-Pop The Cork, will start airing in the new year, and you don't want to miss it.
Oh, we had such a fun time filming it. The first 3 episodes will be released for free on YouTube. The 4th, most scandalous and drunkest episode, you gotta pay for. That one's gonna be on Patreon, but it is totally gonna be worth it. just $3 a month, and all that ridiculous silliness can be yours.
Absolutely.
But yeah, our Linktree has links for everything, including our moment tickets. So yeah, check it out. We're very available and everywhere. So find us.
Yes, please do find us. And we hope that everybody has a safe and happy new year. And we will talk to you next year. We already have so many, like, not birthday party excluded. There's already so many exciting and fun things coming up next year that we just can't wait to do. Thank you all for being with us this year. We love you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Jonghyun, you're our inspiration.